By the way, we're just going to pretend that this is totally not happening behind me. I don't care what anyone else says, okay? We're living the fantasy. We're living in a place where my fairy lights are not going to totally fall on me in this video. Hey guys, it's Gaia, what's up, and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be taking a trip down memory lane together, and we're going to be reminiscing what first year halls was like for me. Yikes, actually let's not. So, if your lovely self has been with me for a while, you will know about all the horrendous moments I had in first year. I'm talking druggy flatmates, fire alarms, crappy security teams, a whole warden investigation into our flats. No, seriously, if you want to hear about the hell I endured in first year, go watch my first year review above. I'll link the card somewhere. I spilled all the goss. So today, I'm going to help you avoid that, my friends. Today, I'm going to be telling you how to find the best student accommodation for yourself, depending on your preferences. So if you do like the sound of today's video, go click that like button so I know to make more of these kind of videos in the future. And if you're new and you want to stick around, go click that subscribe button as well. We've got a bit of university advice, vlogs, psychology, lifestyle, the lot. So before we get into the top tips, I'm actually a third year psychology and criminology student at Nottingham Trent University, and in first year I stayed in an ensuite self-catered accommodation called Gill Street South, which is one of the popular accommodations on City Campus at NTU. If you do have any questions about Gill Street South or my experience living there, please feel free to comment them down below. I'll be happy to answer all of them. Also, if you're watching this, comment down below what first year student halls you're staying in or have stayed in and what the reputation was like. Did you like your student halls? Let me know down below. So the very first thing you need to do if you are thinking of living in university halls is to check when these rooms go on sale, so to speak, so you are ready to book the room you want, because trust me, it is literally like booking concert tickets. Well, it was, at least in my case, because I was desperate to book a room in one of the most popular accommodations at my university. Obviously every university is different, but normally every university owned accommodation is available to be booked around the same time. However, if you're planning to live in a room that's owned by like a private student accommodation company, they will have different dates, so it's really important to check them out. The last thing you want is to be living in an accommodation that you hate because you booked the room last minute. So one of the first essential things you need to think about is what kind of room you want to stay in. You can choose between ensuite, shared and studio. Ensuite is where you have the room to yourself and you have a bedroom area, a desk area of storage and a bathroom included. However, you will have to share your kitchen with flatmates. Shared is where you basically have all those things that I previously mentioned for ensuite. However, you don't have a bathroom to yourself and will either have to share with a few of your flatmates or the entire flat. Lastly, a studio is where you have the bedroom and kitchen combined into one whole area and you don't have to share this room with anyone else. So as you can see, there are pros and cons for each of these options, obviously. An ensuite or a studio is great if you are one of those people that is worried about sharing with other people, because it can be a big risk to book student accommodation with people you don't know who are potentially messy or go out a lot, because let's face it, you're probably going to get vomit left in the toilet every now and again. I know, nasty. An ensuite is normally the most popular and common type of student accommodation at university. However, so many people I know have said great things about sharing bathrooms with other people, because it's a great way to like force yourself to socialize instead of hiding in a room, which is something that I did a lot when I was in first year. Studios are great, like I said, if you don't want to deal with really messy people in the kitchen, which trust me is gonna happen. However, the cons of living in a studio is that you're gonna have to make more of an effort to socialize outside the flat, because evidently you're not sharing the flat with anyone and therefore it can get very lonely at times. However, this is still a very good option if you are one of those university students that would prefer to just focus on uni work, like a postgrad student, and you don't really care about the social aspects of university. However, studios do tend to be a lot pricier compared to things such as an ensuite or shared, because of the fact that everything is combined. So do bear that in mind if you are on a budget. Personally, I chose an ensuite because I really didn't like the idea of sharing a bathroom with strangers, especially if I didn't know their hygiene standards, and I just simply wanted my own space. Also, the good thing about studios and ensuites is the fact that you don't have to fight anyone for the bathroom in the morning, which is going to happen if you are sharing a bathroom with a lot of people. So the next thing to decide is whether you want to live in a catered or a self-catered accommodation. So catered is basically where you have a meal plan and have a very limited option of what the university cooks for you, whereas self-catered is basically where you are completely in charge of buying and cooking your own food. Every university does this differently, of course, though, so you might find some universities have more self-catered accommodation than catered accommodation and vice versa. Personally, at NTU, I'm pretty sure all of the accommodations are self-catered, so you have to cook for yourself, whereas I'm pretty sure at University of Nottingham they do actually have a few catered halls. I personally think that self-catered is better because you have complete control in what you eat, as meal plans can be really limited, and one day they might offer you only one dinner option that you don't like, and this can prove to be difficult for you if you prefer vegan or halal or gluten-free meals, for example. So I really advise checking with the university on what options that they offer before you book. Also check meal times because they only serve catered food at certain times in the day, and if this doesn't fit with your university schedule, it might be better to go self-catered. However though, catered is good for those days where you have a full day of lectures and you come home and you just really can't be asked to cook. The next thing you want to think about is your budget when you are deciding between types of rooms and whether to go self-catered or catered, because cheaper rooms do tend to be self-catered and shared. At the end of the day though, you need to pick somewhere that suits all of your preferences yet still fits into your budget, so really do think about where your priorities lie. For example, would you prefer to have a studio or a private bathroom, but that mean you have to go self-catered, or would you prefer something else? The next thing to think about when you are choosing student accommodation is to think about how many people you're willing to live with in first year. You can get flats from as little as 4 people to as big as 12 people, sometimes even bigger depending on the university. For some people, living with a lot of people is really good because you can make lots of friends, and also if you don't like some of your flatmates, by having a larger amount of people in the flat, that means there's going to be at least 1 or 2 people that you still do like in the flat. However, the cons of living in a flat with a lot of people is that it's potentially going to be a lot more messy, and sometimes it can be actually really intimidating living with a lot of people. Also, you're probably going to have to fight a lot more people when it comes to trying to get the chance to use the oven or the cooking hobs or freezer space, because obviously there's a lot more people in the flat, which trust me is really hard when like everyone wants to cook at the same time. For me personally, 6 to 8 people is the perfect amount. In first year, the first flat I lived in was an 8-person mixed gendered flat, and then the second flat was a 7-person all girls flat. The next thing you need to think about when you're choosing student accommodation is location. If you plan to live in a popular accommodation that is on campus, chances are you're going to be getting a lot of noise since there's going to be a lot of other students living there, and this isn't always a preference for some people. Personally, I'm quite a sociable person by nature, however in first year I really did struggle with the noise and the rowdy drunk lads outside my window that came with living in the student flat. If you are someone that does prefer a quieter experience, you might find that you're going to have to compromise and might have to live in accommodation that is slightly further away from campus. However, at the same time, don't pick student accommodation that is like miles and miles away from your campus, or worse, is on a different campus entirely, unless you're mentally prepared to commute every day, which some students still do. So for example, say you're an archaeology student, you know, you love a good rock. If you live in student accommodation that's like 40 minutes away, you ain't gonna get there in time for your lectures, honey. You ain't gonna get there in time to study no gemstones or fossils. Speaking of gemstones, today's video is in collaboration with Amber Student. Amber Student is a platform in which students can book accommodation near their universities. As Southeast Asia's largest student accommodation provider, they currently operate in over 100 plus cities across the UK, Europe, Australia, and even the US. By using Amber Student's website, students are able to choose from a variety of options depending on their preferences, so you'll be able to find all of the different types of student accommodation that I've spoken about in this video. Also, Amber Student provides round-the-clock free and personalised assistance every step of the way. A great example of this is their COVID-19 policy, which offers free cancellations and relief from visa-related uncertainties. So no visa, no pay. So if you're interested in checking out Amber Student's amazing student accommodation platform, they are offering all of my lovely subscribers £10 off off your booking if you book for Amber Student, and you can find the link for this discount in the description box below. My next top tip is to do your research on the accommodation that you're thinking of booking. Make sure to Google reviews of past students who have lived there. For example, a good website for reviews is the Student Room, and if you can, because this isn't always possible, try to talk to students in the year above about their experiences and the whole reputation of the student accommodation, because you might find it looks amazing on the website and looks so sleek and modern and has everything you want. Then when you get there, you'll realise it's like the rowdiest, loudest student accommodation, and you might end up hating it. Who knows? A great way to talk to students from the year above are in Facebook chats or on fresher group pages that all universities will have. Another useful method is to actually watch YouTube videos made by past or current students about their experiences. For example, if you are an NTU student or are looking to go to NTU who has just stumbled across my channel and you would like to know more about what it's like at NTU from a student's perspective, I have made a whole playlist about everything you need to know about NTU, so if you would like to watch this, I'll link it above. So my last tip for today is, when you have thought about all of your preferences, make sure to choose multiple student accommodations that you can see yourself living in. It is never wise to set your eyes upon just one student accommodation, because you might find there are no rooms left. So it's always good to have backup options that still suit your preferences. So there you have it. Those are all my top tips today on how to choose student accommodation if you are thinking of living in halls first year or second year or third year or whenever. If you did enjoy this video or found it really useful, please give this video a massive thumbs up so I know to do more of these videos in the future. And if you haven't already, go click that subscribe button and come join the family. I'd love to have you. If you did get to this point in the video, please comment this emoji so I know that you've watched to the end. But other than that, I've been Gaia. This has been another university advice video on how to choose student accommodation. So yeah, I'll see you next week for more content. Bye! Just to let you know, I've got a plate of nachos of me while I'm filming this.